There's a reason the same Ram trucks keep showing up at the shop over and over again. Blown lifters at 60,000 miles, burnt transfer cases at 80,000 miles, transmissions that give out right after the warranty expires. And it's not because Rams are unreliable. It's because their owners are making the same 7 mistakes on repeat without even knowing it. By the time the check engine light comes on, the damage is already thousands of dollars deep. Here's what you need to stop doing before your Ram becomes the next one on the list. Let's get into it. Number 1, letting your truck idle to warm up. This is the most common habit on the list, especially in winter. You hit the remote start, walk back inside, pour your coffee, and let the truck sit there rumbling in the driveway for 10 or 15 minutes. It feels like you are being nice to it. You are actually doing the opposite. When your Ram sits at idle, oil pressure is at its lowest point. Pop the hood on any Hemi and look at how far the oil has to travel from the oil pump at the bottom of the engine all the way up to the lifters and cam at the top. The oiling system relies on engine speed to push oil through that long, narrow path. At idle RPM, that flow is barely a trickle. So those critical components are sitting there starving for lubrication while you finish your breakfast. On top of that, extended idling builds carbon deposits on the valves and intake because the engine never reaches the RPM range where it naturally cleans itself out. The engine also takes much longer to reach operating temperature at idle than it does under light load. So the oil stays thick, fuel dilution increases, and moisture sits in the crankcase instead of burning off. The right approach is 30 to 60 seconds of idle, then drive gently for the first few minutes. Light throttle, low RPM, and no highway pulls until the temperature gauge moves. Your engine warms up faster under light load, oil circulates properly, and you avoid the carbon and moisture problems that come with long idle sessions. Number 2, leaving it in auto 4-wheel drive on dry pavement. A lot of Ram owners leave the transfer case in auto 4-wheel drive all year round. I have talked to guys who bought their truck 3 years ago and have never once switched it to 2-wheel drive. The logic makes sense. It is automatic and it engages when the truck senses slip, so why not just leave it there and let the computer figure it out? Here's the problem. In auto mode, the transfer case clutch pack is partially engaged all the time. It is always sending some torque to the front wheels. On dry pavement where there is good traction, the front and rear axles are spinning at slightly different speeds through turns. That difference has to go somewhere, and it goes straight into the transfer case clutch pack as heat and friction. Over time, this burns the clutch pack material, contaminates the transfer case fluid, and accelerates wear on the chain and gears inside. You will notice it first as a shudder or vibration during slow-speed turns in parking lots. By the time you feel it, the damage has already started. A transfer case replacement on a Ram runs $2,500 to $8,000 depending on the model. The fix is free. Switch to 2-wheel drive on dry roads. Use auto 4-wheel drive when conditions are actually slick, rain, snow, or gravel. That is what the system was designed for. Not every Tuesday on the way to work. Number 3, short tripping your truck. If your daily routine is a 5-minute drive to the store and back, or you are starting the truck to move it in and out of the garage, your Ram is in trouble. This applies year-round, not just in winter. This is one of those habits that does zero visible damage in the short term, so nobody thinks about it until the problems stack up. A Hemi needs 7 to 10 minutes of driving under light load to reach full operating temperature. If you shut it off before that happens, moisture that formed inside the crankcase during combustion never gets hot enough to evaporate. It stays in the oil. Trip after trip, that moisture accumulates, breaks down the oil's protective film, and turns your 5,000-mile oil change into a 3,000-mile oil change in terms of actual protection. That moisture also sits inside the exhaust system. Over time, it rusts your exhaust manifold bolts and pipes from the inside out. The 2016 Ram 1500 alone has over 300 complaints for cracked exhaust manifold bolts, and a lot of techs believe short tripping accelerates that failure. If short trips are your reality, the fix is simple. Once a week, take the truck on a 20 to 30-minute drive at highway speed. Get everything fully up to temperature, burn off the moisture, and let the oil do its job. Think of it as exercise for the engine. Number 4. Revving hard on a cold engine. This is related to the warm-up problem, but it deserves its own spot because the damage happens fast. When you start your Ram and immediately back out of the driveway, shift it into drive and get on the throttle. The oil has not had time to reach the top of the engine yet. Look under the valve covers of a Hemi, and you will see how far that oil has to travel. It takes roughly 60 to 90 seconds for oil to fully circulate up through the block, through the lifter galleries, and into the cam journals. During that window, metal is riding on metal with minimal lubrication, and the Hemi's lifters are already the most failure-prone component on the entire engine. Starving them for oil on a cold start is the worst thing you can do to them. The first 2 minutes of driving cause more wear on your engine internals than the next 2 hours of highway cruising. That is not an exaggeration. Cold metal has tighter clearances, oil is thicker and slower to flow, and the lifter bores are at their most vulnerable. Combine that with a heavy foot, and you are compressing months of normal wear into seconds. The fix costs nothing. Start the truck. Wait 30 to 60 seconds. Drive gently for the first couple of minutes. Keep it under 2000 RPM until the temperature gauge starts moving off the bottom. Your lifters, cam, and bearings will thank you for the next 200,000 miles. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I cover Ram maintenance tips every week so you can keep your truck on the road and out of the shop. Number 5. Using cruise control while towing. This is a big one, and it is something towing owners do on every single road trip. You hook up the trailer, get on the highway, set cruise at 65 miles per hour, and let the truck handle it. It feels like the smart move. You are maintaining a steady speed. The truck is doing the work. What could go wrong? A lot, actually. Cruise control has one job: hold the set speed no matter what. So when you hit even a moderate hill, cruise dumps the throttle wide open and forces a downshift to maintain speed. Then on the downhill, it upshifts and backs off. The next hill, same thing. Downshift, full throttle, upshift, coast, over and over for hours. On a mountain highway, this can happen dozens of times in a single trip. Every one of those shifts under load is heat building in the transmission. The torque converter is locking and unlocking repeatedly. The clutch packs are taking hits they were never designed to take at that frequency. And the transmission temperature climbs higher with each cycle. Tow haul mode helps, but even with tow haul on, cruise control still forces aggressive shifts to hold speed. The better approach when towing is to manage your speed manually. Let the truck slow down a few miles per hour on the uphill instead of forcing a downshift. Maintain a comfortable range instead of a fixed number. Your transmission stays in gear longer, runs cooler, and lasts significantly longer. A transmission rebuild on a Ram runs $4,000 to $6,000. Managing your speed manually on hills costs nothing. Now let's get into the fluid mistakes that can destroy your truck even faster than bad driving habits. Number 6. Forgetting your transfer case exists. If you have a 4-wheel drive Ram, there is a transfer case sitting between your transmission and rear drive shaft. It has fluid in it, and that fluid breaks down. Almost nobody ever changes it. You could ask 10 Ram owners when they last serviced their transfer case, and 9 of them would look at you like you are speaking another language. But here is the part that catches people. Different Ram transfer cases need completely different fluids, and putting the wrong one in causes immediate damage, not gradual wear. immediate chattering, clutch pack glazing, and internal contamination. The Borg-Warner transfer case in auto four-wheel drive Rams uses one specific Mopar fluid. The Borg-Warner units in part-time four-wheel drive models use a completely different Mopar fluid, and the older NV cases use ATF plus 4. These are not interchangeable. Pouring the wrong fluid into the transfer case bolted underneath your truck is like putting diesel in a gas engine. A do-it-yourself transfer case fluid change costs $30 to $90. A transfer case replacement costs $2,500 to $8,000. Change the fluid every 30,000 to 40,000 miles if you tow, 60,000 miles if you do not, and confirm you are using the right fluid for your specific transfer case. Your owner's manual lists which case you have. Number 7, mixing coolant types. This one catches people because it seems so harmless. You are low on coolant at a gas station, you grab a jug of the green stuff, top it off, and keep driving. Easy fix, right? Every Ram built after 2013 uses Mopar's extended life coolant. It is the purple coolant. This coolant does not play well with others. If you mix it with conventional green coolant, the mixture turns into a gel, not a figure of speech. It turns into a thick, jelly-like substance that clogs your heater core, destroys your water pump seals, and plugs up your radiator. One dealer documented a $9,000 complete cooling system replacement because of a single wrong top-off at a gas station. Heater core, radiator, water pump, hoses, flush, labor, all because of one wrong jug of coolant. The water pump is already a known Hemi weak point, with some failing as early as 30,000 miles. If contaminated coolant kills it early, you are stacking that replacement on top of everything else. Keep a jug of the correct purple Mopar coolant in your truck at all times. Never mix. Flush the whole system every 5 years or 75,000 miles. A cooling system service costs a couple $100. Getting it wrong costs $5,000 to $9,000. Your Ram is built to last. The Hemi and the Cummins are proven engines with hundreds of thousands of miles in them, but only if you stop the habits we just covered and start giving your truck what it actually needs. Every one of these fixes is either free or costs less than a tank of gas. The repair bills they prevent run into the thousands. But bad habits are only half the problem. There are also 5 factory settings that Ram enables on every truck by default, and they are just as destructive as anything on this list. I made an entire video breaking down exactly what they are and how to turn them off. That video is on screen right now. I'll see you there.